Welcome back. Let's get more now on England's victory at the European Championships. And since the momentous win last night, many victory memes have gone viral, and some have been quoting the 2002 film Bend It Like Beckham, which was, of course, all about the hopes and dreams of two female footballers. Well, the director of that film, Gurinder Chadha, joins me now from Los Angeles, and it's very good to talk to you, Gurinder. I mean, first of all, most of the England team would have been extremely young when the film came out, but some of it have been saying that they've seen it and said it was an inspiration. That must please you.
Oh my gosh, please me is an understatement. I mean, I'm over the moon. 3 years ago, I was here actually for the Women's World Cup at the Rose Bowl. And the women's game was very nascent, at that time in England. And I struggled to get the film made because everyone said, who wants to watch a film about girls playing soccer, So I'm absolutely thrilled at the massive audience for the game yesterday, and not only in England, around the world. So I feel very vindicated.
Yeah, well, so you should. I mean, I don't know how much you've managed to see over there, but what have you made of the way that this tournament and these players have the way the country has really taken them to their hearts?
Well, I think we've seen a growing sense of national support for sports anyway, but I think it's been very heartwarming to see how the country, the nation, has got behind the Lionesses, in such a big way. And it was great. I saw the news, obviously, and I watched the game live, tweeted about it, But since then, seeing all the news reports of families, a lot of families out there with young girls and young boys who are all kind of enjoyed the game. I think that's the future for us, because it was when I was making the film, all the sort of negativity came from older men who were trying to compare the women to men. Whereas I think now younger people are seeing them as great athletes in their own right. And I think young people will be truly inspired by this, just as these women were, when they watched my film. And I think you're going to have a whole generation of people now supporting the women's game and being part of it.
I mean, it has taken a while, hasn't it? 20 years ago, the film came out. What were you hoping to achieve? Other than it being a great story, obviously, but what were you hoping to achieve?
Well, originally, I was inspired to make a film about football after watching Ian Wright come onto the pitch after an England match wearing the Union Jack. Because growing up, for me, football was always about soccer hooliganism. It was all about the right, it was about the National Front, and it was a sort of no-go area for families. And that's one reason why Beckham came on board. He wanted to make the sport popular with families, and with women. And so together we kind of wanted to put a whole new narrative for football out there. And I think that now, you can't even imagine going to a football match and thinking, oh, you're going to get beaten up, or you're going to have all this right-wing chanting going on. I mean, the world has changed so much, and the world of football has changed so much.
And I guess for many young girls, it would have been, watching the film, that would have been their first real, exposure to girls and women playing football.
Well, the point of the film for me was not only to sort of discuss Britishness through sport, but also to create really powerful images of girls, being athletic, which at that time was very, very rare on the screen, small screen and cinema screen. So just having those powerful images of Keira Knightley sort of heading and Paminda Nagra running, with the ball, and all the great ball antics that the Hausa Harriers do in the film, that was all designed to empower young women in particular, to say, look how powerful you are, look how great you are, and you can do anything, even if it's perceived as a man's world, you can do it. That was my intention with the film. And of course now no longer is it bend it like Beckham, it's bent it like Beckham. They did it.
Or bend it like Stanway or Toon or, or Kelly. I mean, that's
Exactly, yeah.
that would be the next one, no doubt. But it kind of dispelled the notion, didn't it, that football was not for girls and women. But as I say, there has been, it's taken a long time. And has change come too slow? Well, you would say it would, but why do you think change has come so slowly?
Well, I think that, it takes a generation, I think, to dispel notions of, negativity. And I think the way that the FA also and, UEFA have got behind the women's game shows that they are prepared to put their money where their mouth is now. And yes, I think it has taken a long time, but it's all credit to these great athletes who have continued and persevered and really made the game their own. I mean, I think it's wrong to compare the women's game with the men's game. Why? I don't think we should do that. I think the men's game is separate. That's their own narrative. The women have brought it home for England. The women played amazingly yesterday. All the matches were fantastic. And look at this. They deserve this amazing moment. And we as a nation, we're all behind them. I mean, I was sitting here in California, jumping up and down, watching the screen at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I was going to say, it must have been early morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, there are those also saying today, given your film, of course, that they wanted to see or want to see a more diverse Lionesses team. Presumably, that is something you would support as well.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Now you might even find Indian families saying, I want my daughter to be a professional footballer, it's a proper job. Never mind doctor, lawyer, so I think that I think more people, more parents will be encouraging of their daughters, to do this as a proper job. And now it's part of the, no one can take away what happened yesterday. No one can take that away. That is a historic milestone, and it's only upwards from here for women, girls of all hues and colour. I did a stage musical of Bend It Like Beckham a few years ago in the West End, and it was amazing every night to see all the different people that came from all over the world to see that musical. It's an incredibly diverse audience, and that's the great thing about football. It is, in its very nature and its supporters, incredibly diverse. And so my Twitter, my social media is full of comments from people with from all different languages. I don't know what they're saying, but they're doing the victory sign and they're doing the kind of strong. I don't know what they're saying, but they're getting in the spirit of it all in all different languages.
Well, some of them might be saying in various languages, "What about a sequel?" I mean, is the time right for another? I mean, we were joking about it, but I mean, it can't be Bend It Like Beckham now, but it's going to be, another film celebrating where we are now with women's football.
Well, I think that there's something very special about that film, and although it was 20 years ago, for many, they just saw it yesterday,
Yeah.
It's still very relevant, and it's still one of the most watched movies around the world for new audiences. So it doesn't seem to age. Sadly, the only thing that ages is David Beckham.
Gurinder, we've got to go. We've got to leave it there. And that's quite an appropriate way to leave it. But listen, it's been very good to talk to you. You've got a lovely office there, quite clearly. Unless that's a film at the back. But we've got to run. Thank you very much indeed.